Surely it's not time for another roundup. Really? Hello, welcome to Model Kit Stuff. My name is Jason. We have hit September, so it's time for another roundup, believe it or not. What a month August was. I can't believe how busy August was in so many ways. Lots to talk about, so let's get cracking. So I have to admit to you that I am recording this a little bit early than I normally would. I usually do it within the last few days of the month, and then we can talk about everything that was going on. As I record this, it's Sunday the 21st of August. And the reason is, as most of you probably know, I've been having a new kitchen fitted in the past week, and that carries on next week with floors being laid, finishing touches being poured on, so on and so forth. So they're in and out, and I'm not sure when this goes back into the kitchen. So I'm up and I'm running, but I'm certainly not firing on all cylinders right now. And the end of August is going to get really, really busy for me on the 25th, which is Thursday. It's my daughter's final school results day, and we have to get her up to college to enroll on her course. On the Friday, the 26th, I turn 52, so I've got a day off work. And then the following week, I'm off work. It's the last week of the summer holidays. And we'll be going out on day trips and doing bits and pieces. So I won't have time to get much done at all. So this is my last opportunity to get this recorded. So it's a busy month, been a busy month, September. You know what? I'm looking forward to just a bit of calm and returning to normal. So let's start with you lovely subscribers. If you're one of my new subscribers this month, firstly, a massive thank you for subscribing to the channel. It's greatly appreciated. I always say, and I remain very flattered, that people want to watch the stuff that I do. But so in the last 28 days, I've had 247 new subscribers. That's up on my average, which is usually around 200. And there's a couple of reasons why the subscribers is up. One is a video we did, and two is a shout out somebody else did. We'll talk about those in a minute. First of all, if you're a new subscriber and you've never watched one of these roundups before, let's tell you what you're up for. So in a roundup, we talk about what happened during the month of August, the videos that went up. It helps ensure that you've not missed anything. We'll talk about missing things in a minute. Also, it gives me an opportunity to talk about some of the feedback we've had and some of the comments on those videos as well. And I can further add to that if I need to. And then we talk about what's coming up in September, and we talk about what I'm filming ready for October. Now then, we started August with Wooden Wednesday. And typically, Wooden Wednesday will see 2 or 3, most usually 3 videos go out on the same day. Tend to stagger them at hour periods, so 8, 9, 10 in the morning UK time. What I didn't realise, and what I only learned a few days ago from a fellow YouTuber, was that if you put out more than one video in a day, it cancels them out. And by that, what I mean is the notifications get cancelled. So you put a video out and everyone gets notified. Put another video out, it doesn't do the notifications, but it also cancels the further notifications of the previous video. So you're sort of shooting yourself in the foot. I don't know what happens when you put a third video out, some form of YouTube Armageddon. What is basically happening is people aren't seeing the videos. Now, recently I've had an increase in people saying, I didn't see the notification of this. And I've been putting a number of videos out for the kitchen update. And what appears to be happening is I put a video out, then I put another one out, you guys don't see notifications for either of them. So that's something I've learned, and it means I need to rethink Wooden Wednesday. What I don't want to do is get rid of Wooden Wednesday. It's a feature now. I like it. It keeps me focused on the wood side of building. And as we get into September and October and the weather starts getting colder, I get a bit more modelling time. We'll be able to catch up and get ahead. Right now, I'm pretty much running on empty on my builds, almost. We'll talk about that a little bit later. So I'm going to have to change the format. Now, Wooden Wednesday happens the first Wednesday of every month. So what I think we're going to do is change it up a little bit. Now, it's been recommended to me that I should leave a gap of 2 or 3 days between videos. Don't think I want to do that. So I think first week of the month, what we'll do on a Wooden Wednesday is we will post the HMS Fly video. And that's if there is one. So if I've got an update on HMS Fly, it'll be on that Wednesday. If I haven't, it'll be a first impressions or something like that. And the tool reviews I've been doing around Wooden Wednesday might be on the day before or the day after, depending on where the roundup falls. So you're probably going to get an extra video that first week around Wooden Wednesday. So book review, tool review, something like that. So we'll reduce it down to 2 videos, but we'll put it over 2 different days. And we'll Wooden Wednesday will still be there, but you'll get something wooden model ship building related on the day before or the day after, depending on how the month's falling. So that's sort of the plan. We'll give it a try, see how that works out. Nothing's ever written in stone. So, but the Wooden Wednesday that's just gone, we did put 3 videos out, and I think the first one was the Proxon belt sander. It's a cracking little tool. So if you didn't see it, it's really for people who are interested in the wooden part of the hobby. The sun is just getting up this morning, you can see. So I'm going to go and shut the curtain in a minute. But there is 1 or 2 uses for plastic modelers or people that do a lot of scratch building, particularly if you do model engineering or anything like that, where you're using metals and other materials other than plastic. It has quite a few uses. It's a great little tool because it's handheld. It's not expensive. The Proxon stuff, it's correctly priced if you ask me. It doesn't cost a lot more than other brands such as Dremel, but it'll last you a lot longer. It's made better. Okay, sun has gone. So second video on the Wooden Wednesday was the Viking longboat from Billings. Now, that was the first time I've reviewed a Billings. I've got a few Billings kits, one way or another. Billings kits are not for the beginner, in my view, or for the faint-hearted. Quite often you find that you've got to do something in addition to what the instructions ask you to do to make things work out. And there was 1 or 2 people said to me, would this be a nice beginner's one because it's so simple? And actually, I think the answer is no. Firstly, clinker hulls are incredibly difficult to do. You take, for example, Artesina Latina have a Titanic lifeboat. I'm not sure how much it costs now, but it used to be around about £80, so I imagine it's somewhere between £80 and £100 now. And it's clinker hull, and you're making it out of straight wood strips, and you've got to bend it, and you've got to get the distances right, and the lapping right. It's an utter nightmare. It's an utter nightmare, and I think it was about the 3rd or 4th wooden model I attempted, and it went in the bin because I made such a shocking mess of the clinker. So clinker isn't easy to do, and the Viking ship is clinker. However, what Billings do is they shape the parts so that the clinker sits right as you lay it. So it is straight bending and what have you, but it wouldn't be the ship that I'd tackle first. Now, I'm going to show you what I'm filming next month, and it's from a model kit brand that I haven't reviewed yet on the channel, and I think it's the ideal brand for beginners, but we'll talk about that in a minute when we get to it. It's behind here somewhere. Okay, so that was that, and then we had another update on the fly. On the fly video, we were planking above the whale and cutting out the oar ports and the gun ports. Now, I'm getting some mixed reactions to the fly video. Most people love it and are enjoying it, and it's very positive. I occasionally get one or two people that come along and say, you're not doing that right or whatever. So let's just deal with that, shall we? Firstly, at no point in any of my videos have I said I'm an expert. I like building models. That's the main thing here. I have experience of building models, but that doesn't make me professional, and it doesn't make me the best at doing it or anything like that. There is a lot of people who build models, and they've all got different skills, different experiences, different likes, bits of the hobby they enjoy, bits of the hobby they find tedious. Everybody is different. I at no point am saying this is how to do it. It's only how I go about doing it. And I've learned that from experience, and I've learned that through working with other kits, from kits instructions, from watching other people building it. And I was very fortunate for a period of time to have in the wooden model ship building world a mentor who has won awards at building models, and I use some of his tips from that. I also used to build part work kits and film that for their YouTube, for their official videos. So I have done things on a semi-professional way. I wasn't paid for it, just got to keep the kit. I'm not going to say who the channel was or anything like that, because I felt out with them. But at the end of the day, I have built a number of wooden models. They've always worked out fine. Yes, sometimes I make a mistake. That's because I'm human, and sometimes I might go about it in a different way than an experienced modeler might do it. But it's the way that works for me. It's the way that I know, and it still gets you to where you want to be. So I am fully enjoying building the fly, and there's lots of people giving me some love. And the thing I like the most about it is that a number of people have said, you've inspired me to have a go. That's what this is all about. That is absolutely what it's all about. Wooden ship modelling is different to plastic modelling, and it has different rewards that it gives you. It's all about the construction. So if you love building, they are great, great kits. If you just want to get the building over and done with and focus on the painting and weathering, then you might find that it's not really for you. Although I would like to challenge the wooden model ship building community to do more weathering, more old, and stop doing only museum style presentations. I plan to do some wooden ships with some weathering in the future, so I'm challenging everyone else to do the same. Okay, that is Wooden Wednesday over. Now, we had a really busy month with first impressions, so let's talk about that. So those of you who were subscribers way back in January will remember that I went shopping as soon as the new Airfix catalogue was launched. I went online, I went shopping, I took you guys with me, and we made some decisions on the new products for the year, the new tool stuff, or the new re-releases that I was going to pre-order. So we did a number of pre-orders, and I had a pre-order carryover from the previous year. And then suddenly in August, a number of them came together. And the first one was the 1:72 re-release of the Dornier. What a stunning little kit that is. Now, when I buy a model kit, I buy a model kit because I'm interested in the subject matter for different reasons. Sometimes I buy it because I absolutely love the subject, I know lots about it, and I want to build a model of it. sometimes I just like the look of it. I know nothing about it at all, but that looks nice, it looks quirky, there's something that draws me in, I want to build it. And sometimes I think that's going to be a challenge to build, and I like the challenge of it, and I'm not really interested in the subject. For me, my passion of modelling is building things. So it's not always that I'm buying it because I've got some historical um, love of the subject. So when I was reviewing the Dornier and went, what's this massive picnic basket? It's because I don't really know much about the subject. Obviously, when everyone pointed out it's an extra fuel tank, that made complete sense. And you go, oh yeah, that's what that is. But at the time, no idea what that was. Anyway, no doubt gave some people a chuckle. Some people were very friendly about it and said, I think you might find, well, that's brilliant. Let me know. I ask because I don't know. I really don't. Apparently, it was called the Flying Pencil, and you can see why. It's very long and thin. And I was also told by one of the viewers that it had been really designed as a dive bomber as well, which is why it's got this funny arrangement with the flaps. So a really interesting model, actually, for 172 scale, for what is quite a small bomber, really. What a high part count, 174, something like that. That's a lot of parts. So yeah, I really enjoyed that. Now on the and it got a lot of love. I got a lot of comments about it. Obviously, there's a lot of people interested in building aircraft, and a lot of people interested in the Second World War. Most of my viewers are of my generation or a bit older. I do have younger people watching, and that's brilliant. Thank you very much. So there's a lot of people interested in the World War II era, and therefore interested in the Luftwaffe stuff. So it got a lot of views. I think at the time I'm recording this, it's about 4,200 views. It got a lot of views, and a lot of people loved the review. Now, the one thing that was on the box art was this event with the engine on fire, and that reminded me that a couple of years ago, just before I started the channel, I built Airfix's Heinkel in its Motorhead bomber configuration. So basically, the story goes that when Motorhead needed some art for the single bomber to come out, do you remember them vinyl discs in a little sleeve? Yeah, so they needed some artwork for the single, and the guy that did the artwork bought an Airfix Heinkel bomber, built it, and based the artwork on that. He did some modifications and added some bits and made it unrealistic, but at the same time, it was based on an Airfix. So when it was coming up for the 40th anniversary of the single release, Airfix released a Heinkel bomber, and I built it. It's a lovely kit, actually. I enjoyed building it so much that I thought I need to buy another one of these and do it properly. And what we did is we converted the box top, which had all the bomber artwork on it, into a stand, put some clear plastic rods on, had it in flight, and I put one of the engines on fire, and we used tissue paper and cotton wool to do that. So I thought, when I saw that box art, I thought, I remember doing that. Now, I wonder if I've got the photos. So I know I'd put some photos up on Facebook around about the time. So they were still on the cloud. So I put them all together. That's why you didn't see much of the build. Most of the build stuff had gone, but the end presentation was still there. So I took those photos together, knocked up a little video, and chucked that out a few days later, because I thought it would be a good way of people seeing how you model an engine on fire, if that's what you want to do with your Dornier. But actually, what most people focused on was the swastika. And Airfix go down the simpler route of just not including them. That's their choice. Whether you agree with it or disagree with it is irrelevant. You're not going to change it. That's their view, and you have to respect that. It's a simple fix. These cost me £7.99. delivered. And I've got loads of different styles and sizes, all for 172. You can get them for 148. There's several companies that do them. It's an easy fix. Okay, Tiger 1 diorama build. That was the next video up, and we concentrated on finishing the hull of the tank. And then we did one or two other bits I seem to remember. Did we paint the street as well? I can't remember. But again, really nice little video. It feels like it's coming together. It's not getting the love that I sort of expected it to get. You know, everyone likes a tiger. Maybe it's just been done to death. But we'll finish the build anyway. There was 2 tiger videos. The other one at this time of recording hasn't come out yet, but it's focused on building the turret. And I don't have any of the problems that I've had earlier in the build with the Ryefields model. And the turret built up really, really nice. So where I am is we're at paint. So painting the buildings, weathering the street, painting the diorama accessories, and painting the tank. So still quite a bit to do, but the end is in sight, so much so that I've been able to focus a little bit on the Wingnut Wings Gotha, and I've filmed now the introduction video to that. It's a short video. At the time I've recorded this, I haven't released it, but I'm hoping it'll have been released before the end of August. So if you've not seen it, have a quick look in my videos. It should be in there. If I've not released it, then it'll be out anytime very, very soon, because I'll just want to get it out there and remind people it's coming. Then we got hit by another first impressions, another new tool, another Airfix kit, another aircraft. And it was the 148 Buccaneer. Now, initially, I hadn't ordered that. I have the 172 Buccaneer. And there's part of my brain that goes, well, I've got one of them, so I won't get another. I tend to build it like I've explained, to scratch an itch, and I've done that. Move on. And the 172 kit is a beautiful kit. Really, really nice kit. I've bought a nice little display stand for it. It's going to really hum when I build it. So initially I thought, it's just a bigger version of that. And then as we got closer to release time, one or two people said, will you be getting it? Will you be doing a review of it? And of course, people know that I buy stuff to build. I don't buy it and then sell it on or put it on a shelf and leave it in its bags and hope it makes some money and that stuff. Everything first impression here is a kit I'm going to build at some point if I live long enough. So that's why initially I hadn't bought it. As we got closer, I thought, it's got some interesting little features, and go on then, why not? So I bought it, had it on pre-order. It came to me, and we did a review of it. And it's been a popular kit, but only half as popular as the Dornier, which has had twice as many. And I think that's purely on the number of channels that covered the Buccaneer against the number of channels that cover the Dornier. So everyone was jumping on the Buccaneer. It's one of the main releases from Airfix this year. There's clearly a lot of people that love the Buccaneer, and channels that know more about the aircraft were able to talk about it, perhaps in a way that I couldn't. What I could tell you was, it's got nice plastic, it's a different colour, everything looks really nicely moulded, there's some real finesse in some of the engine blades and bits and pieces, it looks beautiful, and it's got some nice little innovations in it that we've seen previously in the Spitfire and Mosquito releases. So that was my main focus. It's a first impression, that's why it's called that. So I think there's just been so much activity on the Buccaneer that, it didn't appear to be as popular as the Dornier in the end. But it's a lovely, not so little kit. It's actually quite a big aircraft when it's done. A lot of conversation around price point on that, and Airfix kits, some of them at least, might be coming across as not as good value for money as they used to be. What I would urge people to think about is, are they good value for money against the competition? Now, I would argue that often the case is yes, and because at the end of the day, they've always been the pocket money brand. They've always been an entry level brand because they're affordable, and kids went and bought that stuff. And I still think a lot of their stuff is still pocket money budget stuff, but also really good detail. So you get their new starter sets, they're far, far, far better than buying the 1970s Tamiya junk that gets reissued and reissued and reissued. You don't know that it's old stuff. And the tooling is fine, but it's really old and it's basic and it's out of date. I think Airfix actually are blowing Tamiya out of the water in many ways at the moment. And Tamiya are becoming the two-star manufacturer in more ways than one. Not often I have a rant. Shall we move on? Paint scraper. I'm reliably informed in Canada and North America. My Techni-Edge fancy scraper that retracts is just used for decorating in North America and Canada. Next up, we have the ICM staff car, which comes with some figures, and that was just as popular as the Buccaneer video. Lots of love for that, and it's almost a diorama in a box. You just need a display base or a building maybe that they're going into, and it has lots and lots of potential. Everyone knows that I've got a big diorama in plan that this is going to go in eventually. Someone made the suggestion that it'd look great on an airfield or something like that. I totally agree, and I think the comment said they wish that there was a 135 aircraft, and I think I replied it'd been nice to have a 135 Ju-52 that they could be outside of, and that would be a really nice airfield setting. Of course, you could use a 172 Ju-52 and paint your base so it looks like it's far away. Just a thought. So my next video, which was 13th of August, was a shout out for this young man here, Moz6510. I'm sure many of you, most of you, know this guy and follow his channel. Apparently, that was a microchip. It's got nothing to do. He's not called Moz. He wasn't christened 6510 or anything like that. It's a microchip apparently. Always something new to learn, isn't there? So I was given a shout out by this chap here. We'd been having a bit of a conversation about the Airfix day where some channels were lucky enough to go up to Hornby Hobbies and have a chat and interact with them. And we got talking about that just after the event. And as a result of that, he shouted my channel out, which was the first reason why we had a bit of an uplift in subscribers this month, I think. He also sent me this really nice kit, and he's also invited me to join one of his live streams. Now, I've been umming and ahhing about live for a while. In fact, another channel, Jeff Donahue, was asking me about what I was thinking about going live, and I said, I'm not sure I've got enough subscribers to warrant it, based on how many people join the live chat on the Saturday builds. So I've sort of been umming and ahhing about it, and then I thought, well, it might be nice to do the unboxing of Airfix's 1/24 scale Spitfire live, and you can get my reaction and your reaction live. So I'd been thinking about that, and I tried going live, and I tried going live on my MacBook Air, and was told by YouTube that was a no-go and that I needed to get Chrome because I use Safari. So that didn't work, and I forgot about it for a while. And then when it was mentioned that I could perhaps join, I went, well, actually, yeah, but I've actually never really done it. I need to get my head around it. So that's why we had a live trial during August, and we did it a little bit differently. I went live through my iPad, and I actually had it on in front of me on my MacBook Air, so I could see the chat. So I had the chat in front of me, I had the video on. There's a slight delay between me talking and it appearing on the video, but that seemed to work. I could read the chat, I could do what I was doing. I understood some stuff about sound, about lighting, about camera shake and stuff. A few people joined, which almost took me by surprise. It didn't take long for people to be joining, so including Jeff, who got up at 3:15 in the morning to watch it. Man's a nutter. I wouldn't be watching me at 3:15 in the morning. Catch it up. Anyway, brilliant that people joined it. It was a success, and so now I feel like I can go and join somebody else doing that. So probably do another practice, and I actually really enjoyed the live chat, so we will do some more of it. We'll talk about that in a minute. Anyway, thank you, my friend. More to come on that, I'm sure. Next up was the Queen Mary 2 video, and that's got a little group of followers who always watch it, always love it, enjoy it. Mainly ship enthusiasts, one or two ocean liner enthusiasts, I guess. It doesn't talk to everybody because it's not military. I think to a certain degree, it's not got guns on it, but it is a very, very important, historically important ship. It's an important ship in our modern world right now. It's the only ocean liner in the world, and it's an outstanding engineering achievement. And what people don't realise is that when a lot of ships can't set to sea, that one can. The Queen Mary 2 is a phenomenal ship, and I understand why it doesn't talk to everybody, but I am still thoroughly loving the build. We're at the point now where we're adding lots and lots of detail, and we're going to go along the top decks next, and then we're going to drop down the back end, and there'll be a lot of work on deck chairs. So at some point, what's going to happen is, even though it's the primary build, the frequency of that video will drop off because there'll be quite a bit of monotony in making tables and chairs, hours and hours of work, which ain't going to lend itself to video. So we'll get to a point where we say we're not done, but we'll catch up with it in a month's time, and then we'll do a final reveal. So we're not quite at the point where we've not got the regular videos, but we're going to be getting there once we get to the back end. We've built everything at the back end other than the railings and the other details, so it will slow down. That's how I envisage that happening, and then when that finishes, we're ready for another big ship build. And when I say big, I mean 1/200 scale. And I think just after that is when the Monday after that is when I went down because the kitchen was started. And I was really surprised. One or two people, including my friend Nigel from Nigel's Modelling Bench, went, "Why don't you show us some videos of your kitchen?" All right then, if that's what you want to see. And, around 200 people have watched my kitchen video. And this is going to make you all smile. But on one particular day, when you look at the analytics, it looks like I got more subscribers on one day than the rest of the days in the last 30-day period from a kitchen video. Honestly, 18 subscribers in one day on the day I put a kitchen video up. Now, of course, the truth is the video that was released the day before was the K2 ambulance, and so those subscribers came from watching that. But when you look at how YouTube presents the analytics, it looks like you put a video out on a kitchen and got loads of subscribers. So I had a bit of a giggle about that. Okay, the next video I put up was a trailer for the 1/72 scale Mosquito. So that is what you guys as subscribers asked for as my in-between build. Now, for those of you who are new subscribers, the way I work is I have a principal build, a main build, which is the Queen Mary 2. and then have a secondary build because I can't just build one kit at a time, and that allows me to change gear, and also if I've got to a point where everything's drying and I can't do any more, I've still got something I can be building. So we have a secondary build, which is the Tiger diorama currently, and then I have a sort of an in-between build. So it's a build that I can pick up when, just don't fancy those two today, or I can't actually do anything on those. So I tend to have 3 plastic model kits on the go, and then of course I've got my HMS Fly. And the third build is generally a smaller build. So the Rotodyne currently, as far as you guys are concerned, from the video point of view, is the Rotodyne. We've had 3 episodes of the Rotodyne. There's 1 more to come, and then that's done. And then the Mosquito kicks in, and where I am is I'd got it to the point where I'd put the fuselage together, and I'd built up all the subs assemblies ready for paint when the kitchen refurb started. So the Mosquito build, it has progressed quite nicely, but is paused. And really right now I can't do any serious painting because I can't sit at my desk properly. I can only sit side on, and it's not as comfortable, and I don't have the elbow room, and I certainly can't set up my airbrush, and I need to be airbrushing the Mosquito. So the Mosquito then got paused. So the build that's coming after the Mosquito, I've started putting together, which is this. So started that, and just doing the plastic build part. So steps 1 and 2 is hull and deck. So that is the Yukikaze from Hasegawa. It's a very nice kit. There is already a first impressions of this out. We've got some Edward etch, and I might also throw some Tamiya and Hasegawa upgrades at it if necessary, but I've got to say, having looked at the kit, probably not. I might also be utilising a little bit of additional etch outside of the Edward etch if necessary. There's 1 or 2 little bits that I think might be missing, but we'll have a closer look as we build it. But that is what's coming after the Mosquito, and I've already got a start on it, but back end of next week when this goes in, I'm expecting this to be moved back into its proper place around about the 25th, the 26th of August, and then we'll be back up and running and finish the Mosquito. I think the Mosquito will end up being 3 videos. I'm not 100% sure, and then we'll be on this, but because we're doing etch and stuff on this, this will take longer, and this is going to be a weathering project. So we're going to go to town with, rust and salt streaks and algae and shading and all that sort of stuff, and properly go to town on it. So I'm looking forward to it. It's quite different to anything else I'm doing at the moment, so exactly what I need, something that's a different paint pace and completely different to the other builds. So that will be coming along soon, so maybe October time you'll see that, but I have started it. Next video was a focus on tools video, the Flexifile. If you've never seen a Flexifile before or don't know how to use one, it's worth stopping by. It's a 10-minute long video, but yeah, it's a great little tool. And when I had my modelling space up in the attic, it was one of those tools that was in a drawer, and I forgot that I had. Now it's all in one place. I'm finding that I'm using it a lot more than I did. So my next video was the Austin K2 KT Heavy Ambulance from Airfix. Brand new tool, massively anticipated release, long waited for. Unfortunately, it took Airfix so long to get it out for one reason or another, that they had the march still on them a little bit by Gecko. But the end result was we got a really nice kit. But I was really surprised, and we'll talk about that in a sec. But that video was the second reason I've had an unusual spike in subscribers. I had quite a few people clearly come across the channel as a result of that video. And at the time I'm recording this, it's still really the only review out there of that Airfix kit, and that has really surprised me, considering how long it was anticipated. Whether that's just because the Gecko one came out and people have lost interest, I don't know, but I just looked on ScaleMates, and other than a Brit Modeler review, mine's the only review listed there, and I can't really find anything else on YouTube. It has genuinely surprised me. I thought there'd be several up by now. We're a few days since it came out, but there you go. So at the time I'm recording this, I'm at over 4,000 views on that. So it's certainly the most popular video this month, and one of my most popular videos in terms of initial viewing figures this year. Now, when I do my first impressions, I try and be as neutral as possible. Yes, I like Airfix kits, but I also like other brands' kits as well. So I do try and say it as I've seen it. So even though I'd been looking forward to this kit release, it's not like I was desperate for a KT because I've never built one. I've got the Accurate Armour resin one, part built actually, and I have been toying with, do I want to get the Gecko one as a comparison? I think there's some issues with the Gecko one from what I can see. Now, when it comes to the Airfix kit, what a lovely kit that is. It really, really is a nice kit. And I don't want to take away anything from what Academy do. But when I'm doing a review, my job is to not promote the kit, but to give you a view of what's in the box so that you can take an educated view as to whether you want to buy into it. And the reason why people do these box reviews is it's so much more difficult now to walk into a model shop and have a look at what's in the box. You used to be able to do that, you can't really anymore. So reviews of the kits, I think, are really important. And it's not going to tell you how well it's going to build up. It's not going to tell you if there's any issues or mistakes. All it's going to do is say, this is what you get in the kit. It's well produced. The instructions are good. The decals are good. Da-da-da. That's the idea. So when I go, actually, the stretchers could be better, I mean it, the stretchers could be better. If you look at what Gecko did with theirs, blankets, pillows, stacking them, they made them all for individual stretchers. What Airfix Academy did was make 4 identical stretchers, and that's what I meant by a bit clinical. And I said exactly the same thing earlier in the month about the ICM car. They've designed it on CAD, they've done the door pocket to look a certain way, and it looks nice. But then on the other side, it's exactly the same. Well, this is material, it moves, it's different, it's never going to be identical. So you don't want to tool it to mold identical. And I almost think it's sort of like the CAD engineers. Yeah, I've got one perfect and I need 4 of them. We'll cut and paste, cut and paste, cut and paste. It's on the sprue for them, job done. And it's a little, I don't know whether it's time saving or they think that's as good as I'm going to get it and they're all identical or whatever. And someone made the comment to me, well, they would all be identical because it's type material. Yeah, and I agree, but actually it's not moulded correctly because it should have little cutouts around the legs. So it could be better and it could be different. And Gecko managed it. So Academy could have managed it for Airfix. But I am nitpicking. I'm nitpicking and I'm focusing on that because there's no other issues. It's not like I went, and in addition to all that, the stretchers could be better. There was nothing wrong with that kit, really. Yes, it would be nice to have an etch grill, and they've put a radiator in, and at first I thought, why have you bothered doing that? You won't see it. And then it occurred to me after I'd filmed it, you know what? That's so that when the aftermarket comes out, you can cut the plastic grills out and you will be able to see it. So actually, it was designing it with a knowledge that there will be aftermarket. Again, Gecko put the grill in. The Academy Accurate Armour one has the grill in it, but the Accurate Armour ones are £110 for essentially you get something that looks identical at the end of it. So as far as aftermarket is concerned, there are now some tyres out. If you're going to have a look on Scalemates, you can get some replacement resin tyres which will have the wording on, which was the other thing that I pointed out. But otherwise, I think it's a lovely, lovely kit. And a number of people have had it on pre-order and they won't be disappointed. I am going to do a follow-up video on the Katie. An Ice Cold in Alex diorama. Loads of people said, what a great idea, or I've been thinking of doing that as well. I've got some resin figures together which I think will recreate the scene in the film where they get to an oasis. I forget the name of it off the top of my head. And there's some British guys there dressed up as Arabs, and they're about to deal with the fuel dump so that it causes the Germans some problems, and they basically say, can we have some fuel before you do that? So that scene there I want to recreate, so we need a building and we need some resin figures. And with the exception of the Sylvia Sim, the nurse figure, I've got it covered. So we'll do a little video and say, right, these are the figures I've found for these different characters, and that just might help you get some inspiration at least. Because I want to do an Ice Cold in Alex diorama, that would have to be a secondary build. So I am going to do it. I want to wait and see if Edward or someone brings out some aftermarket so I can replace the grill and possibly windscreen wipers and maybe slightly thinner mud guards and the little grill on the side there. I'd like to be able to have that in the open position, particularly on a desert model. So I'm just going to wait a little while to see what comes out over the next few months, but quite possibly once we've got the Gotha out of the way, we might well do an Ice Cold in Alex diorama. A lot of first impressions in August, and we carried on with the Tamiya utility boats kit. I think that's the sort of thing that a lot of people look at and go, why do I need that? And then pay no more attention to it. And actually, it's one of their better ship kits because the detail level in it is really nice. You can use it to replace the bit lackluster ship's boats that they put in their kits. And also you can add additionals because quite often you have a few missing when you build a Tamiya kit. Having said that, a lot of them were stored in like a hanger arrangement and so weren't on display. So Yamato and the like. So unless you're going to be showing her import or unrealistically with all the boats hanging off the davits in some way, and I've certainly seen photographs of the sister ship with them on the davits, you don't really need them. So it's a lovely little kit. And if you like building model ships and you like building Imperial Japanese stuff, it's worth having there. So you've always got something to grab, upgrade, replace something missing, improve on a poorly molded piece, whatever. It's worth having. So that was a nice little video actually, and actually it took half an hour to get through that. So it turns out being a little bit more involved than you think. And then we had the big U-boat. So my understanding is there are some issues with it. There's some issues with the hull shape and dimensions and bits and pieces. It's a Revell kit is quite possible, but with all the platinum stuff that comes with it, it's a bargain. You get it at a really good price. So I bought it some time ago. I've been looking forward to doing the first impressions video because when I do a first impressions video, it's the first opportunity I have to really thumb over the model really closely. So yeah, I like the platinum editions that they do, but you do have to punch wisely, because the old Matchbox Flower class Corvette needs an awful lot of work to look anything other than just the basic shape. Even with their platinum upgrades and lights and stuff, I'd still be wary of buying it. Um, it, it looks nice when it's done. I built one as a kid, but there's lots of seas of nothing but plastic. It really needs a lot of work, probably scratch building from the deck up in reality. But other than that, their platinum kits seem to be a good and cost-effective way of buying a kit and all the aftermarket. And because it tends to be Pontus, it's generally good stuff. Other than the decks, Pontos decks are awful, truly, truly awful things. If you've ever got a Pontos deck, chuck it away and buy someone else's, because anybody else's is better. Controversial. And August still isn't over. So much happened in August. Okay, so at the time I'm recording this, the plan is that the Monday slot, the last Monday of August, the 29th, I'll be away doing stuff, will be a product review of Humbrol enamels. Now, I know everyone's going to go, what? Why would you be doing that? Everyone knows about Humbrol enamels and nobody uses them anymore. Well, part of the video is to question why you're not using them. For me, Humbrol enamels are one of the best paint systems you can get. And yes, you can use them through an airbrush, and yes, you can brush paint them really well. And a lot of people's perceptions of enamel paints I'd like to challenge. And if you're coming back to the hobby, there's a huge range of paints. And I understand, you know, I use a lot of acrylics, and I understand why people use acrylics. It's not as smelly and drying time's quicker and all that. But I can challenge some of that. How you use enamels affects how well they brush paint, how well they airbrush, how quick they dry, and even what you mix with them can affect how smelly they are. So if you use fancy thinners, it tends to be more whiffy than if you just use odorless white spirits. So if you didn't see the video, go and watch it. If you didn't see the video because it wasn't there, that's because I didn't have time to edit it. Things are all over the show. But I have recorded it. At this moment in time, as I record this, I've not edited it. But the plan is that will be there on the 28th. So if it's not, it'll be coming next month. So I think that's really an interesting video. And I'm interested to see the comments I get from it. And then we will end the month. This is already recorded. It's already pre-scheduled in YouTube, so it'll just go live. So I know this one's happening with another Airfix kit. Been a bit of an Airfix month, really, hasn't it? A 1/35 scale Panzer 1. So that's the Panzerkampfwagen 35T, which is, of course, the old Skoda vehicle. And of course, it's a re-release of an Academy kit, which means you can buy the Academy upgrades for it. And that's the thing that sometimes get lost when it's a reboxing with another brand. You don't realise that some other aftermarket will fit with it. So that's a nice review. We've got the aftermarket stuff in there. It's actually a cracking little kit, and it's not a big tank when it's done, but should be an awful lot of fun. You've got some nice track options depending on your skill level, which I liked. There's no interior to it, but you've got some figures. Just a nice, fun weekend build. It's one colour, so you can either build it, paint it, display it, or build it and weather it to death. Whatever you want. I thought it was a lovely kit. So that's August done. What is coming in September? I'm a little bit cagey about this because I've got some stuff that's recorded, some and needs editing, some stuff that's edited and loaded up, and some stuff that's not recorded. And usually by this point, you know, I've got a week and a bit left of August as I record this. I've usually got the next month at least all recorded and mostly edited. So I'm usually about 3 weeks ahead. And right now, I'm hand to mouth. And that's what's happened because of a combination of being really busy at work, school summer holidays taking up more of my time than usual, out of action with the kitchen. It's killing the channel. But the good thing about September is kids are at school and college. The weather's getting colder, so we can't do quite so much outside. So I get a bit more modelling time. So we will catch up in September. Well, at least I'm hoping so. But let's talk about what's intended, but take all of this as guidance because it might not work out this way. So the intention is that we will have another Queen Mary 2 video as the first build at the start of the month, but I may well have to push that back because I've not quite got enough content for a video, and I don't know how quickly I'm going to get back into there to be able to do it, and I've got to be able to film it and have time to edit it and put it together, and the editing time is the biggest process in all of that. So it's quite likely that'll get pushed back. If it does, I'll be putting the final episode of the Rotodyne in. So we're either going to kick September off with Queen Mary 2 or part 4 of the Rotodyne, and you'll see her completed and the photo gallery at the end. So lovely little build that was. I totally enjoyed it, and I really do hope that Airfix re-release it as a vintage classic. Now, someone made the comment that it was very brave of Airfix to release the kit as there was only ever one prototype built. Well, the prototype was built in '59. The kit was released in '59. I suspect Airfix thought that the Rotodyne was going to take off and that they were at the start of something that they could re-release with lots of different decal options and military and civil, which was what it was intended for, but it just never happened. What a shame. So I've got a number of product and tool reviews planned for September, but none of them are recorded. Now, they don't take very long to record, and therefore they don't take very long to edit. So I'm hopeful that we should be able to pull them all together. I've got one or two things that I have recorded in the bag that I wasn't intending for September, so we might be able to pull some stuff together. But I don't know what's going to be going out and what's not. I know what's intended, so you'll just have to wait and see what's coming. When it comes to first impressions, you've definitely got a dogfight double. We showed you that. It was the Pearl Harbor one where you've got one of these, a Wildcat and a Zero having a duel. That's recorded. In fact, that would have gone out the week that the K2 ambulance went out, but I pushed it back to slot that in because I'd recorded it the day before, took delivery the day before, so it sort of worked out that way. So we know we've got that. Airfix Avro Lancaster, the Dam Busters version, you should see that in September. And the old tool 1:350 scale Yamato with a bit of aftermarket stuff and a conversation about can we get that tooled version to look as good or better than the new tool and do it cheaper. Interesting prospect. And you should also see the Airfix Sabre first impressions review. That should be at the back end of September. Now, because my builds work in a 3-week cycle, there's always one build that appears twice in the month. And in September, that should be the Queen Mary 2. But if we don't do it at the start of the month and put the Rotodyne in, then what will happen is we'll still get a Queen Mary 2 build in September. It'll just be at the end of the month. So, I'm not quite sure how that will work. So we may get the first Mosquito build in at some point in September, or it might be the very first thing you see in October, because actually 1st of October is a Saturday, so the roundup won't happen until the 2nd of September. So we'll have our build video premiere with live chat on the Saturday, and that may well be the Mosquito. Could be. Okay, so that is September, other than one other thing, and that is live streams. So we've already talked about the fact that I practiced doing live streams, and I did. You know what? It went so quickly. I did about 40 minutes on the trial, and it was such a quick experience. I learned a lot. And what we did in that first live stream is we started cracking on with this. Now, this was gifted to me. I already had one, but I wanted to build one in a different livery. So really nice. And I'm building this in, we chose B in the end, didn't we? Which is 1943. And it's got a caveman on the tail, and I just like that. So that's what we're building. If I do more live streams in September, and we'll talk about how that's going to shape up in a minute, then that's what we're going to be building during the live streams. And I'm going to be painting that in enamels. Don't know whether I'm airbrushing this as yet. We'll talk about that in a sec. Probably going to be hand painting just because of the timeline of how other things are going to pull together, but you'll have to wait and see. If I can airbrush it, I will, but we'll talk about that in a sec as well. But yeah, that's the plan. Live streams, and I'll be building that initially. So, live streams, what's going on there? So, as I've said, when it comes to live streams, I've ummed and ahed about whether to do them or not. I did a test run, really enjoyed it. So, I think this could be a feature. And I'm thinking of doing it in two ways. And at this moment in time, I haven't made my mind up whether it's an either or just do both. I might be leaning towards both. What I'm thinking of doing is on a Saturday at 9 o'clock, we have our premiere with live chat. And I'm thinking that when that finishes, which is 10 p.m. my time, thereabouts, we will go live afterwards, a sort of premiere after party live stream, and possibly do between 1 and 2 hours of live then. It's a Saturday night. I can go to bed late because it's not a school night. I can stay up and do some modelling and chat to you guys about whatever we want to chat about, and do a bit of model building at the same time. It gives you an opportunity to ask questions and so on and so forth. The beauty of doing it at that time is it works as an early morning thing for people in Australia and America, and as a late night thing for people in UK and Europe. So it's a good time to capture most people, or at least that's what I'm thinking. But it does mean that there are some people that can never get to it for whatever reason, work commitments, life commitments, whatever. So I might also do some pop-up impromptu live streams as well that aren't planned. So there is occasions when I'm modelling and there's no one else in the house. It could be a Sunday afternoon, or it could be a Monday evening or whatever. And I might just, modelling, I might as well just flick it on live and record it and see where that goes. Depends on what I'm doing. Quite often when I'm on my own modelling, that's an opportunity for me to do some videoing. So I might have a look at how I can do some videoing footage for the actual build video, and at the same time have a camera running for live stream. So I need to get my head around it. I need to think about it, but I am thinking that live streaming after the Saturday premiere seems to make sense. So that is likely to be happening. If you're interested in coming along, having a chat with other people, having a chat with me, then by all means, you're welcome to drop along. I'll be, if I've not already started it off, I will be starting it off soon. But bear with me. I'm just finding my feet with the live stream stuff. I know I need a better microphone, and I'm just looking into which one I need. I think I know which one I'm getting, and I need to deal with camera angles and camera shake. Otherwise, we're up and running. Okay, so let's deal with what's on the desk and why it's there. So again, for new subscribers, what I do is I sort of work a month ahead when it comes to videos. So when it comes to roundup time and I need to record this, I go and have a look at my spreadsheet that tells me what my plan is, drag the models out of the stash, put them on there. We talk about what we're going to be doing, recording during September to be shown in October, and then I go away and film them after the roundup, and then they get edited and chucked out, and you'll see them in 4 or 5 weeks' time. So what you see in September, I recorded in August. What you see in October, I recorded in September, so on and so forth. And this is what I'm going to be recording. Now, because I've lost some time with the kitchen, I'm recording less this month than I perhaps ordinarily would do. But I've got first impressions videos that get me to, let's see, 19th of October currently. So we've got the M3 Stuart and we've got HMS Zinner, and that should get me pretty much up there. I'm just double checking M3 Stuart. Yeah, and then we've got a Wooden Wednesday, which takes up the first week. So I only actually need something for the last week of October, but I like to stay ahead because you never know when someone's suddenly going to build a kitchen, do you? So I'm going to do 3 first impressions videos during September, and that'll keep me half a month ahead, and I'll try and edge that up and get a month ahead. So first one, we're going to do this. So, a 1/72 scale, Dora Wings Percival Vega Gull. Now this is the second Dora Wings kit I'll review. The first one was a civil one, nice red kit, and it didn't have much in the way of surface detail. It turned out that it was mainly a wooden construction. Now I don't know how well these build together. I've got 2 kits, I've never built them, but I just liked the look of this. So yeah, the other one I think was 1/48 scale. I think it was a bigger scale. So we're going to have a look in this. It seems to be that we've got a military version in there. I don't know whether we have 2 versions in there. That's one of the videos we'll be recording during September, ready for October. Okay, so the next video I'm going to be filming is this bad boy here. Let's just put some light on the subject. There we go. So it's the Takeo. I think that's how it's pronounced. I will look into its pronunciation ahead of video in it. Let's light it up a little bit so you can see it better. There we go. So this is a 1/350 scale. It's the Ashima kit. I think originally tooled 2007. This is the 2011 release, which had some new parts, something changed around. Often when they say new parts, it means they put a different base in and you're not getting much different. But yeah, it's a heavy cruiser. It'll be nice to compare this with the Tamiya ones that we've reviewed, and I've got a couple more Tamiya kits, ship kits to review as well. One of them being one of the newer IGN kits. So yeah, looking forward to this. I think we have photo etching here. It's been a little while since I had a look. I think we mentioned this on a roundup once when it was a stash ad, and I had a look at it on delivery. I got this secondhand on YouTube, I think. YouTube? eBay. Yeah, but nice looking kit, I seem to remember. So we'll be doing a full review of this. There's a lot of parts in it, so it's not going to be a quick first impression. So when you see that come up, get yourself a coffee and a bacon butty, because it's sit down, shove it up on the telly, watch it nice and close. Be a nice video, that, I think. And we'll be recording this. This is the Arta Latina Independence from 1775 kit. It's 1 to 35 scale. Just going to say that again, 1 to 35 scale. So I haven't reviewed an Artesina Latina kit on the channel before. And a number of people have said, I've seen your videos, I want to start building wooden kits, what do you recommend? And if we talk broadly, I usually will tell you Caldercraft have great step-by-step instructions, but their kits are very high quality, and so their price tag is a bit bigger. There is a lot of Artesina Latina kits which are really quite cheap, and if you find it's not for you, you're not losing so much. Now, Artesina Latina are a brand that's widely used by the part work people. So how part works work is really the magazine publishers, but they need bits to go with their magazines. So they'll get one of these kits, they'll get the manufacturer to break it down, they might swap out some materials just to make it more cost effective for them. And then they'll release it as a part work, and you'll build a cannon and put a couple of strips on the hull, and then next week you'll build another cannon and put a few more strips on, and it works like that. So this brand is often used for those kits. The Model Space brand, for example, from D'Agostini, they use a lot of the Artesina Latina kits. They also use Ocre kits as well. And the reason why they use their kits is because they have very, very clear part work like instructions. They're not too complex to build, and it lends itself quite well, so they don't have to do a lot of work to get it fit for a part work presentation. Also, they're Italian, and D'Agostini are Italian, so I'm sure that also helps. But if you're looking at going into building your first wooden model ship kit, and you don't want to spend too much money because it's a sort of a dip your toe in the water, see how you get on, then an Artesina Latina kit is a good way to go, because the instructions, as you'll see when we do the first impressions, are colourful, well depicted. They don't do it in the same way as a lot of companies with plans and a little bit of text. You actually have a manual to go through with pictures, a bit like Ocre. I think they do a better job than Ocre on their instructions. That being said, I might well build this as a beginner's kit at some point. What you won't get in an Artesina Latina kit is accuracy. You'll get something that represents it. You'll get something that looks all right on as a display piece, but you're not going to get accuracy. And look at the end gallery here. It's a single metal casting, so that's not going to be sharp and crisp. They use a lot of their genetic fittings, such as barrels and cannons and stuff. So it's never accurate, but it's a representation. And they are fun to build, and they're usually not too difficult as well. And you can see this has come with all the sails and everything you need. It looks great. It does. It really genuinely looks great. And you can quite often pick these up on eBay for a bit less than the original cost. So it's worth having a shop around. But if you're thinking of dipping your toe in, catch that first impressions, take a view. When we've done that, we'll have done most of the major brands. We'll have done Amati, Artesina Latina, Victory, which is also sort of Amati, and we'll have done Ocre, and they're sort of the main big brands. There's a whole load of other brands. Oh, we've done Caldercraft as well. There's a whole range of other brands out there. Some of them specialise, some of them don't, but we will have covered one way or another most of the big brands once that's done. So I'll be filming that. Should be quite an involved little kit. I'm interested because I've not looked at it deeply to see how good it is. So you can join me for that. Right then, I think that is you guys fully up to speed. Wow, August was busy, wasn't it? And more coming in September. I'm hoping to catch up. And I'm hoping to catch up with you guys, maybe on a live stream. So thank you very much for joining the roundup this month. Take care, everyone. You enjoy your modelling, and I will see you very soon.